we were on the Ghost Inside was on a tour called the Locals Only Tour, which was a last minute thing we put together because another tour fell through. But essentially the concept was we were just going to go to all of these towns, and instead of bringing a tour package with us, we were just going to have local support just to give an opportunity to local bands to play a show that may or may not be, slightly bigger than a normal local show they would play. Trying to give back to the scenes that even give us the opportunity to go out and do stuff. And so towards the end of that tour, we were driving from Lubbock, Texas to an off day in New Mexico, and our tour bus was in a head-on collision with a semi. And as you can imagine, it was not very awesome for anybody involved. And it greatly halted everything in everybody's lives. We didn't play any more shows for almost 4 years after that. And so, yeah, it forced us to kind of figure out who we were as people outside of being like Chris from the Ghost Inside, Vigil from the Ghost Inside. Like we had to, it forced us to slow down for a minute, focus on just recovering and being healthy, but also like the uncertainty of the future of the band kind of forced all of us to figure out what other things we like to do in life as well.
Yeah, everybody kind of got into something really, really cool, right? Like Vigil got super into streaming.
Yeah, so Vigil was always like the gamer guy, but he got really, really heavily into Twitch, and he like has a really awesome community that are like regulars that go to his Twitch streams. That now that we're back to playing shows, will like plan meetups together and come to the shows together, and it's like I don't know, he created a really cool community through his stream. So that was his thing. Jim went out and tour managed a couple bands. Zach and Andrew were the most injured, so they didn't really get to dive into too much. Zach since then has gotten really into fitness, and so that's kind of been his thing.
I've noticed him getting much more buff, bro. He's shredded.
Yeah, he's a beast. And then Andrew he started a couple other like solo music projects, and he's done some ghostwriting for some other bands and stuff too. So that was kind of his distraction from all the other stuff going on. And then
becoming more of a producer
exactly
and an engineer and like a songwriter. That is where I started hearing of Andrew more in like the broader sense of like the
did we lose
heavy
him?
music stuff.
We lost him.
He's gone.
He looks like he just saw a ghost.
Josh,
he gone.
I'm screenshotting this.
There he is.
Oh, he's back.
There he is.
Can't screenshot it.
But yeah, it was exactly that. He used the time he was always the writer guy in all of his bands up until he joined the Ghost Inside, because Aaron was more the writer guy, but he was in a band called For the Fallen Dreams prior to the Ghost Inside, and he wrote basically everything for the two records that he was a part of.
He wrote one of my favorite melodic metalcore records.
Changes?
When did he
yeah.
Changes is one of my favorite of that era melodic metalcore records. He essentially, I would argue that he single-handedly started like 7 bands.
There were so many bands that were copying what Andrew was doing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he started that band in high school, I believe, with their guitar player Jim Hawking, and yeah, Andrew was like the main songwriter for both Changes and Relentless, the one that came right after that. And then he left the band during the Relentless cycle.
I feel like anytime I see drummers writing the music, it's always really, really cool. It's always like really cool. That makes a lot of sense.
He is disgustingly, he's one of those guys that's just good at everything he tries to do. So he's like, he's good at video games, he's good at mixing, he's good at writing, he also has a very good eye with fashion. He's also he helped kind of do a bunch of the editing for our something people will see in the future, a music video that people will see in the future. Like him and Jim kind of took up the directing and like the visual concept of that. Like he is a multi-talented guy, and like I said, he's the kind of guy who's just good at everything he does. To a frustrating level. It's like, chill, dude. You're making the rest of us look like we can't do shit. Chill out.
That's super crazy. Yeah, I had no clue because the first time like I ever saw him like play like guitar, like anything other than drums, was on Instagram after the accident, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like he's like picking up guitar and stuff. And I was like, and I'm like hearing him play, and I was like, I don't think he's just picking up guitar.
No.
like